Greetings, people. It's Mr. PDT yet again on another episode of the Enlightenment series. I have an appeal to Chris Oyakhilome. I do call him Chris because I have zero respect for the guy. Men like Chris, to me, they are nobodies. They might be multi-billionaires. They might have accumulated all this material around them, but I still consider them as non-entities because the way that they have gotten to where they are, or the way that they have accumulated all this wealth, is unethical. If you're going to look at how these men that you call your spiritual fathers, or these multi-billionaires that are pastors, prophets, apostles, and bishops, if you're going to look at them from a point of integrity, if you're going to be critical about their mode of operations and how they've accumulated or amassed all this wealth, then you realize that an armed robber is far much better than a pastor. A car hijacker is far much better than a prophet. Because these guys are what they are. They go with the gun, they take your money, they go, they run away. You will be left to find other means to get your money. Your soul has not been touched. But when we talk about a pastor, a prophet, a bishop, these men don't only take your money. They don't only take your material, but they destroy your souls. They go that extra mile to brainwash you so that you become a mugu. The majority of people that support the likes of Oyakhilome, or that respect the like of Oyakhilome or African pastors, they are mugus. They have been mentally damaged. There is nothing here. You can see them walking, but they are gone. It does not take them to be ripping off their clothes or to be looking like mad people or to be eating from the dustbins. But this is another level of madness that these men and women who follow prophets have become. And they are just empty vessels walking around, following and receiving and accepting and clapping and shouting and kneeling down to these elements of darkness that you call your spiritual fathers. They are elements of darkness. You take it or leave it. You agree with me or disagree with me. But I have no regard for pastors. I have no regard for apostles. I have zero regard for any of these, your bishops. We have become wealthy at the expense of desperate and innocent souls. Souls that are so much in love with things of God. Souls that really want to understand what happens in the spiritual world. Souls that want to be led to Christ. They've been deceived and they're being deceived. But I always say, you cannot see the picture if you're in the frame. You see these moguls, these followers of false prophets, I call them moguls because that's what they really are. And I try to use hard love on them, hoping that they can repent. They do not know what they are into. A spell that has been used on them is too serious and it's too dangerous. It's too strong that it keeps them holding on to something that they know, deep inside they know, that nothing is going to come out of any of these things that they are so adhered to, any of these things that they are so connected to. But they still remain in these shrines. No matter how much we give them evidence, proof, even if we're going to open scripture to back up everything that we are doing, we cannot get them out of these cages, these self-imposed prisons. They actually have the keys to get themselves out, to unlock themselves out of these self-imposed prisons. But they won't, because they've been conditioned so much brainwashing that they believe where they are is the right place and the best place to be. Looking at the case of Daysman, I want to bring this to your attention. And I've been receiving so many calls from people that are from the inside. People are telling me that the reason why Desman is a loose cannon the way that he is because of the mother. It's because of Kathy. Kathy watches this boy. Kathy is aware of everything that Daysman is doing. But Kathy supports Daysman in everything that he is doing. And when I say everything that he is doing, I want to make reference to what Chris Oyakhilome said when he was calling out, when he was rebuking his own son. He said, this boy is being stripped off, or I'm going to discipline him because of his gross misconduct. Gross misconduct. He wouldn't put it out so clear to the people, but what Chris Oyakhilome meant was, this boy has been destroying lives, one life after the other. Innocent girls. Some of them he forces himself on them, according to the testimonials that I've been receiving. But it's all covered up. Kathy doesn't do anything about it. Some are even saying Chris doesn't know much about what this boy is doing. But Kathy is aware of what is happening at that brothel of Daysman, where Daysman stay. But Kathy is forever clapping hands for the boy. Go on, my son. Go on. Do all that you want. And it is alleged that Kathy and this boy called Desman, they run a syndicate of promising people or of extorting money from people who want to see Chris Oyakhilome. There is proof and evidence of what I'm talking about. Chris might not even know about this, but these two, the mother and the son, it is alleged that they run a syndicate. Remember, Kathy is the gatekeeper to Chris Oyakhilome. No one gets to see Chris Oyakhilome unless they go through Kathy. And it is being alleged that anyone who gets to meet Chris, anyone that you have ever seen being endorsed by Chris Oyakhilome, paid huge sums of money to Kathy and Daysman. This is their own side hustle, that they make sure that if you want to see Chris, they give you a prize and they charge you to see him. I don't know if they will give Chris the money or they will not, but from my inside sources, they tell me that this is how Kathy and Daysman work together. Or maybe that's now what gives Daysman the authority to do whatever that he wants, because he knows the mother can never question him. If you listen carefully to this testimony of Rakeb, she mentioned that Kathy once came to the house and she saw us in the house. And she said nothing. She just did what she did and she left. The girl even mentioned that sometimes we go to Kathy's house to get groceries, which means the mother is aware of all these things, all these abuses that this boy has been doing to these young and innocent ladies. Some of the ladies that have called me have been telling me that it's quite a lot of young girls that are being taken advantage of by Daysman. Remember, we have not yet spoken about the abortions that these young ladies are being forced to do by Daysman. Where can Daysman have the knowledge of all these things if it's not coming from a woman? If it's not coming from Kathy? Where can he know? Where can he have all those ideas or the knowledge? It seems as if whenever he makes a woman pregnant, he calls the mother, Mom, she is pregnant. And mom comes and does everything that needs to be done. Or maybe she forces the young ladies to take some medication, or they do it through whatever other means. But whatever that is going on in the life of Kathy and Daysman, I'm still trying to find out if Chris is aware of this, because I'll eventually do. I will eventually do. And the way that I will know this, because everything I talk about here comes from inside. I don't gossip here. I don't talk about rumors, things that are not verifiable. And I'm telling you for a fact, I will soon establish if Chris is part and parcel of these rituals that are being done by Daysman and the mother. And there's more information that is still coming in as far as the paternity, in as far as the relationship between Chris and Daysman. Remember, we brought this to your attention so that we can debate about it, we can critically analyze it, and at the end of the day, we'll know the truth. Because this boy called Desman is straight from hell. This boy is from hell. What this boy is doing, the damage that he's causing to people's lives, even the boys around Daysman. Young boys, listen to me. You little boys, I don't have anything against you, gentlemen. Listen. And I'm being told some of you are even graduates, but you still answer to this boy called Desman. You bow down, you clean his shoes, you wash his underwears. You bootlick him, you do everything for him, and he slaps you sometimes. He beats the hell out of you. He disciplines you physically, all of you. I've been hearing cases of boys that are being slapped left, right, and center if they cross the line or if they do anything that Daysman doesn't like. You, young men, you know yourselves, or you know yourselves. You are staying there because you think this boy is anointed, or by association to Chris, he has some special grace on him, but he's abusing all of you in that house. All the boys that you see following Desmond, because this boy works with an entourage, with an entire group of protocol boys that will be protecting him, driving him, and looking after his well-being, and guarding the house where he keeps these girls. And those boys, I'm being told they're being abused as well. If he can be doing this to the boys, physically abusing the boys, what about the young girls that he brings in and out, in and out, in and out? Kathy has to be called out. Pastor Chris, if you're watching this, call your sister out. She is a cancer to that organization. She is the one aiding this boy called Daysman. If Kathy could put Daysman to order, many lives will be saved. This boy does not only need to be put to order, he needs to be investigated and detained because he's a threat to humanity. He is a threat to humanity. The reason why R. Kelly is in prison today, the reason why he's serving a life sentence, is not because of human trafficking. It is because of sex trafficking. The moment you book a flight for a woman because you want to sleep with her, that is a crime. And Daysman has been doing that to multiple women. He has been booking flights, lying under the false pretense that he wants to give them jobs. And then when they get to Nigeria, to Abuja, he starts sleeping with each and every one of them. Is that not sex trafficking? Tell me. What's your definition? What's the legal definition of sex trafficking? It's exactly what Daysman is doing. Why is he not in prison already? Why has he not been arrested already? If he is committing such crimes under the watch of his mother, she must be an accomplice. They must go down together. He gets the money from the mother to do all these things that he's been doing, to commit all these crimes against humanity. Desman deserves to be where R. Kelly is. Because what R. Kelly committed is the very same thing that Desman is committing with the aid of the mother. Give me a reason why this boy should not be behind bars. Just one good reason. This is sad, my people. And more is coming. These things need to be exposed so that we protect our children, our sisters, from falling into such traps.